Hello everyone, I'm glad you could join me today. So the card I have for you today is one that I made with the Peace to You stamp set. Let me pull that in. I really like this stamp set a lot, and I came up with this design, which is a combination of the Peace to You stamp set as well as the Paradise Palms. I thought, this would be a good one, because it's sort of I know that we think of palm trees as being like, tropical, but, it also reminded me of palm trees that would be like in an oasis in the desert. So I thought that would be a good combination. So I'm going to flip the camera and then we can get started on how to make this card. So here's another view of the card, and as you can see, I have the palm trees there, and I also brought in a little fawn from the Peaceful Deer stamp set, and it's this little guy right here. So let's get started. I'm going to set this aside, and in order to get a good image for the Nativity, I brought in my Stamparatus because for some reason, and I can't fathom, when I ink up this stamp, it takes a few times to get the ink the way I want it, as dark as I want it. So if you're not familiar with the Stamparatus, I know that some people have the one that's called a Misty. That's not a Stampin' Up! Product. The Stamparatus is a Stampin' Up! Product. It allows you to put your stamp in this on this platform. Let me just put it comes with magnets so you can hold your paper in place. The back side of your stamp, when you put it onto your, let me move this over. When you put your stamp in, you're going to place it face down on top of your cardstock, and you would close the top of it and press it down before you ink it up. And the beauty of this is that if you get an image that's not very dark, or you need to ink it up again, when you ink it up and you close it, obviously you're going to get it placed. The placement of it is going to be in the exact same spot, and that is really what you want. How many times have you put a stamp on a block, inked it up, put it on your cardstock, and you either didn't get a complete image or it was too light, and you try to re-ink it and put it in the same spot, and then you get a blurred image, and that happens to all of us. All right, in order to get a good good pressure on this, I always put a stamp set underneath. Now I'm going to ink it up, and I'm using Starry Sky. Now on my example, I used Night of Navy, but I decided I want to use Starry Sky. We'll see how it looks. If I don't like it, I can always switch it over. All right, so now what I'm also going to do is, when I press it down, I'm going to use this pressure tool, and I'm going to have a link for this below, in the description below. Let's see how this goes. Hey, it didn't come out too bad, but you know what? There's still a little light area. So I'm going to ink it up again. With this pressure tool, the stamping pressure tool, it really kind of gives you an even pressure. I mean, you can use your fingers too, that's, but I just use this one. Oh, that came out great. And I only ended up having to do it 2 times. With maybe my Night of Navy is, ink pad is, it might be getting a little dried up because I had to do it several times. So I want to clean my stamp before I put it away. Okay. And I'm going to move this off of the platform. And I'm going to put the stamp back in the case. Okay. And move the stamp apparatus out of the way. And now I'm going to bring in some stamping blends because I want to do a little bit of coloring. I want to color in her veil with some Balmy Blue. I'll try not to take too long doing this. Watching me color is not necessarily a good use of your time. Put a little bit right here. Okay, that's all for her veil. And then I'm taking, no, that's not the one. I want to use some, I don't know, let me see. I'm not sure. I want to use crumb cake for that, but I think that's a little dark. Yeah, I want to use some light crumb cake for Joseph. I have the dark crumb cake out because I'm going to use it for his staff. And then I'm also going to use it to put some highlights on the little baby deer, the fawn. I was going to do this, just let it be white. And then I changed my mind because I just thought it would look nicer with some coloration on it. Makes it stand out a little bit more. Okay, that's it. And I want to just use the dark, is this the dark one? Yes, the dark crumb cake to do the staff. I think I'm going to just like dab it because it's such a skinny image. I'm afraid if I drag it up in one swoop, it'll go left or right, and I won't be happy with that. Okay. Oh, you know what? I neglected to get a little pizza right in here. Let me make sure I got the right one. Light crumb cake, yeah. Okay. Now, for their, oh, you know what I want to do though? Hold on. I'm going to do the swaddling clothes for the baby in light crumb cake as well. Okay. Now for their skin tone, Stampin' Up! Does have skin tone Stampin' Blends, but and I did use them and they're okay. The colors were okay, but you know what? I kind of liked the petal pink a little bit better. Oh, we'll see. Hopefully I won't regret it. Oh yeah, I'm already regretting it. No, let's see. No, I'm not regretting it. Yeah, I like that. I have another spot, tiny spot. Okay. And I'm going to do a little bit on her face. The baby's face. And just on her hands. All right, and then the only other thing I want to do on this piece is I want to add some Wink of Stella. And Wink of Stella, for anyone who doesn't know, Stampin' Up! Has these glitter brushes. And so it's a liquid and it contains glitter and it's like a little paintbrush. Super easy to use, super easy to add some sparkle to your card without really any effort. Okay, now I'm going to cut out this image because there's no dies in that stamp set. And these are all just straight edges, so it's really not a difficult one to cut. And that's all it takes for that. All right, set that aside. All right, and I have the little fawn already pre-stamped, but I'm not going to do that one yet. I want to do some card assembly. I just want to show you what I'm assembling. All right, so I have Starry Sky as the card base, cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So this is standard card base. And we're going to do it on landscape. Then I'm using a piece of basic white cut at 5 1/4 by 4. Again, a typical card layer. And we'll layer that right on top. Then for the background, there's no coloring required. This is from the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. Let me pull that out. So let me move these over for a second. One side of the Hues of Happiness, and you may recognize this if you've seen the catalog. One side of the Designer Series paper, and I'll just pull out a few pieces, are really pretty flowers, all kinds of colors. But the reverse side are these watercolor papers, all these different colors. So this one has deep pink, and this one looks like polished pink. This looks like blushing bride. This could be daffodil delight and mango melody. There's some, we have balmy blue or maybe pool party, and this is probably granny apple green. So it looks like a, painted. So you have flowers on one side, you have painted on the other. And that's what I used for the background, so I didn't have to do any coloring. So we bring this back. And this is the one that I use, and this one I cut at 5 inches by 3 3/4. Just like that. So you have a nice frame. So I'm going to go ahead and start layering some pieces. All right, I'm going to need I'm trying to use up some of my liquid glue. I have some bottles that are almost empty. Okay, this one still has some in it. All right, and we'll tack down the next one as well. See, isn't that pretty? The pretty flowers. Sometimes you can't decide which side you want to use. You hate tacking down pretty designer series paper. All right, so I'm going to put the dark side, the dark part of it at the top so that it looks kind of like a night sky. All right, now I'm going to bring in this piece of crumb cake because what I did on this one is I just took a strip of 5 by 1 and excuse me, then I just did a fussy cutting, you know, up and down like you would if you were doing a snowbank on your winter cards. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not doing anything, you know, particularly good. I'm just, all right, that's it. I'm just kind of something wavy that I can put on here. Sort of like, you know, sand dunes or something. All right, so I'm just going to put some liquid glue kind of at the bottom. I'm not going to do it at the top because I want to tuck some things behind it, like the bottoms of the palm trees. Okay. And then I already pre-stamped, pre-cut the palm tree. This is what they look like. I cut some extras because I didn't know whether or not I wanted to use them. So what I think I'm going to do before I do anything else is put this on in the center. And I'm going to do that with dimensionals. I'm going to pop it up. And it does kind of require a lot of dimensionals because it's kind of a big piece. Okay. Okay, last one. There we go. All right. I'm just going to put it kind of in the, you know, in the center. Like that. And now that way I have an idea of where I want the what do you call it? The palm trees. Oh God. All right, I think I need to cut this down a little bit. I think it's too tall. All right, we me see. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Okay. I'm just going to put it over in the corner here and like that. And that way, with the centerpiece popped up on dimensionals, I'm able to, I mean, you could, if you were just going to tack it down, it wouldn't be the end of the world to have it be over. It would look kind of nice. In this case, I wanted it to appear as if it's in the background. So I'm going to put it kind of over here, and it'll be tucked a little bit underneath. Okay. Now, so I had on my previous one, I had a second one, which is there are two palm tree images in the, or there's more than one. I mean, there's more than two. This one is a straight one. This one is a curved one. So I had that. But then I also, there's also this image where there's three together. And I'm almost thinking I kind of like this one for this card. Yeah, I think I like that. All right. But I have to be careful because I want to make sure that it's not hanging over the edge of the card, so that it, I don't want it to be hanging over. Okay. I kind of like that. A little different. It looks like it's way in the background. So these extra pieces, I think I'm good. I'm going to set them aside, use them for something else. I think I'm fine with that now. All right, so let's see. So I did my coloring now, and I did my palm trees. So I think now I can bring in my little deer. And I'm going to color the little deer with some light crumb cake. And then I'm just going to fussy cut them real quick. And I thought, woodland creature. I don't have any critters that that we normally see in the Nativity. But I thought this would look really cute. Now I could put another one in there. One of the standing deers from that set, but I said no, I don't want to do overkill. All right, so now this was the light crumb cake, and now I'm going to take the dark crumb cake. No, not the bullet side. I want the brush side. And I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighting along the edge. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. A little bit of highlight. We'll do a little fussy cutting. If you're not a fan of fussy cutting, then this is not going to be your favorite part. Personally, I like fussy cutting. I find it, I don't know, soothing, I'm not sure. And when you're fussy cutting, you're turning the paper, not the scissors. I mean, my preference is die cutting because, you know, rather than fussy cutting if I can get away with it. But occasionally, you know, you have to do a little fussy cutting. And so you're better off at least giving it a try, because there will come a time when you're going to have to do it for the sake of your artwork. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to put some, because I'm going to have him partially over the image, which is already popped up on dimensionals, I'm going to put some glue on the back side of this side of it, but I'm going to put two small dimensionals on his hindquarters, because he's going to need to be popped up a little bit. And we're almost done. Okay. And now I'm just going to put some glue on the front side. You know what? Let me take the backing off these dimensionals first. Just like that. Oh, isn't that, it just looks so nice. And having a little bit of sparkle on the star, I love that. Okay, now I have another piece of basic white for the inside, also cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And let me bring in, let's see, what did I put on the other one? Oh, I put in the light of the world. And then I did another little deer on the inside. Okay, so I have the light of the world. And perfect. And okay, clean that up before I put it away. And here's my little deer. I'm going to do this with some soft suede. And I'm going to color it. Oh, no, not that. This is the crumb cake. Oh, you know what? I got some stuff on it. Oh, well. I'm going to color it just the same way I did on the front. Now you could just leave it. You could just stamp the outline of it and leave it as it is. I'm just kind of going the extra mile and coloring it in. And I'm going to do the coloration on the edges again. And that's it. All right. Now I'm going to put some glue on the back and tack it down, and we will be done. Oh, I got a little bit more glue than I meant to. I unfortunately got a little bit of ink on there, so this is going to go to a friend of mine who will be very understanding about the fact that I have a little boo-boo on it. There we have it. I hope you like it. I'm really pretty happy with the combination of the, let me bring it back in, the Piece to You stamp set and the Paradise combined with Paradise Palms, and then the little deer from Peaceful Deer, all combined together for a lovely motif of the Nativity. I hope you really like it. I appreciate that you joined me today, that you spent some time with me. I value your input, so if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. I'll put additional details below, and with a link to my blog with the measurements, and I'm going to include a link for the supplies. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to having you join me again. Thank you, and have a great evening.